Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to definitively break down the realities of scalping versus intraday trading. Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of conflicting advice out there regarding short-term trading, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we aren't just staring at charts. We're diving deep into the psychology, the environment, and the really rigorous demands of these two completely distinct styles, all to help you find your true, sustainable edge in the markets. But first, let's just start with a quick question. Have you ever watched one of those viral clips of a trader clicking a button, making a massive profit in a matter of seconds, and thought to yourself, man, short-term trading looks like such an easy path to wealth? Come on, we've all seen them. Everything happens so incredibly fast. Enter a position, take the profit, boom, look for the next setup. The illusion is super convincing, right? It makes a lot of people believe that the shorter the trade, the faster and easier the money. But is that actually the truth? Well, let's just shatter that myth right out of the gate. Actually, scratch that. It's not even just a myth. The reality is the exact opposite of what those viral clips suggest. The time frame you trade on absolutely does not dictate how easy or hard trading is. Instead, trading success is all about matching a very specific methodology to a very specific person. Both intraday trading and scalping are short-term styles, sure, but as we're about to see, they demand entirely different skill sets, psychological profiles, and working conditions. Just picture the contrast here. It's literally like two different worlds. On one hand, you've got the intense, highly wired scalper, surrounded by a massive wall of monitors, bathed in the glow of constantly updating tick charts. And on the other hand, you have the intraday trader, operating in a seemingly much calmer environment, carefully analyzing a cleaner workspace with higher time frame charts. They are looking at the exact same market, but living completely different realities.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Scalping. Every second counts.
So stepping into this high-octane arena, what exactly are we talking about here? By definition, scalping is a trading style laser-focused on capturing extremely small price movements. A trade might last just a few dozen seconds, maybe a couple of minutes at the absolute most. The profit target for each trade isn't huge, but the goal is to repeat this process frequently throughout the entire day. Now, I know taking small, frequent profits sounds remarkably simple on paper, but in reality, it requires an absolutely immense cognitive load that, frankly, most people just aren't wired for. To actually survive as a scalper, the essential requirements are incredibly demanding. You've got to process huge amounts of market data instantly. You practically don't even have time to think. When a signal flashes, your decision has to be immediate. It's pure reflex. A great scalper isn't sitting there pondering their analysis while the market is moving. Nope, all of our heavy lifting, the research, the statistics, the practice, that was all done before the session even started. Plus, because your profit margins are razor thin, securing the lowest possible trading costs, like tight spreads and low commissions, well, that's not just a nice bonus. It's literally a matter of survival. Because of this extreme intensity, a scalper simply cannot afford to multitask. This is definitely not the style for someone who wants to casually browse the web or check emails while trading. Just 1 or 2 minutes of lost focus, that can mean missing a prime setup entirely, or worse, entering a trade late when your statistical advantage has completely evaporated.
Okay, let's shift gears here and see how this builds a completely different picture. We're moving from the left side of our spectrum, pure reflexes, rapid micro-execution, and immediate reactions, over to the right side, which demands calculated patience and a much broader macro awareness.
Which brings us to Section 2, intraday trading. Slower, but not any easier. Now with intraday trading, positions are still opened and closed within the same day, but the tempo shifts pretty dramatically. Trades are held for tens of minutes to several hours. But don't let the slower pace fool you. While it feels inherently less frantic, because trades unfold over hours rather than seconds, the trader actually has the luxury of time to analyze broader market trends, identify optimal price zones, and watch how the market reacts to key levels before pulling the trigger. The pressure of split-second execution is gone, sure, but it's replaced by an entirely different kind of psychological pressure. There's a quote that hits the nail on the head perfectly here. Many fail not because of wrong analysis, but because they can't wait for the right moment. In intraday trading, your biggest enemy isn't a slow internet connection, it's yourself. Instead of reacting in seconds, the intraday trader has to learn the excruciating art of patience. So many traders fail here not because their technical analysis was wrong, but because they caved to the fear of missing out, jumping into trades way too early, or panic selling and exiting a position long before the trend actually finished running its course. And this dictates a really specific profile for success. An intraday trader needs strong macroeconomic awareness. They have to understand how economic data releases, the opening of major global sessions, or even central bank speeches can totally shift the day's momentum. They care about the broader market context, not just a blinking technical indicator. In fact, a highly skilled intraday trader spends significantly more time planning and mapping out scenarios before the market even opens than they ever spend actually clicking buy or sell. Moving right along to Section 3, Mandatory Common Ground. So, we've explored the stark differences, right? But regardless of whether you want to trade on the 1-minute chart or the 1-hour chart, there are 3 unbendable pillars of survival in any short-term market. First up, strict risk management. Let me be totally blunt here. There is absolutely no execution speed fast enough in the world to save you from poor money management. Second, statistical proof. A trading system is only trustworthy if it's been rigorously backtested and proven with actual data, not just because you happen to have 3 lucky wins in a row. And third, unwavering discipline. That third pillar really deserves its own spotlight. Because look, knowing a strategy intellectually is one thing, but actually sitting at your desk, battling your own emotions, and executing that exact strategy perfectly without deviation hundreds and hundreds of times across a volatile year, that is a whole different beast. It is the ultimate test of psychological endurance. So let's wrap this up with Section 4, which choice is for you? Having laid out the realities of both approaches and the unbending rules that govern them, you really have to look inward and choose your fit. Do you thrive under high pressure? Do you naturally make rapid decisions and prefer to exert extreme, unbroken focus for shorter bursts of time? If so, scalping might just be your arena. Or do you prefer to analyze the broader context? Do you possess the extreme patience required to just sit on your hands for hours, doing absolutely nothing until the perfect high-probability setup arrives, without getting twitchy? If that sounds more like you, intraday trading is likely where you belong. Ultimately, guys, it is the exact same market, just played at a completely different tempo. And here is the absolute most important piece of advice you can take away from this entire explainer. Never, ever choose a trading style just because you saw someone else being successful with it on social media. You can have the most mathematically sound system in the entire world, but if it fundamentally clashes with your personality and your daily life, it's going to eventually break you.
I want to leave you with this final, really powerful thought. Trading is not a competition to see who can execute the fastest or who can rack up the highest number of trades in a day. Real sustainability isn't found in the time frame itself, it's found in the alignment between the method and the trader. When you finally find the style that actually fits you, you'll stop feeling this frantic urge to trade constantly. You'll just wait for the opportunities where you actually have a proven edge. So I'll leave you with this to ponder today. Are you currently forcing a tempo that doesn't fit your natural rhythm? Or are you finally ready to trade in perfect sync with who you actually are?